How should we take speculation versus real news? Hey, what's up guys, it's Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. And what I got for you today is a little bit of a talk about speculation and things like leading up to certain big game releases, in this case being Soul Calibur 7. There's a huge difference between like actually reporting on news, speculation, and straight up clickbait or making crap up basically. The thing that separates the two in the majority of the times is information. Now that may seem obvious on its headset, but from the outset it's not actually that that easy to spot, because information can be many different things that come in many different variations. So usually when I make speculative videos, I'll take like a fact or something that actually is right about what happened in the past game, and I'll expand upon that, or I'll make changes to it, or I'll try to like put it off in such a way that like it can either be adapted or upgraded in the future. A perfect example of that would being like where the story could be from Soul Calibur 7, from Soul Calibur 6. I mainly base that straight up off of like the narration content from what's going on in the encyclopedia in Soul Calibur and in Soul Calibur 6, and from the actual story from the added-on Chronicles of the Swords from Season 2 and where they're headed. Now, I've seen other videos, and some people will say that they're speculating, but you're not speculating when you're just guessing. That's a completely different thing. A speculation could be like an educated guess. So it's like you have information available to you, and inferring from that information and taking that information, where would that information eventually lead? That is like, I guess, a hypothesis or a speculative like video, something that is you're guessing based on like what's already happened. If you were just making stuff up, I could come up with any variables of storylines that would not make sense with the continuation of the end of Season 2 and call it a day. So a lot of people like will do that, and then some people will come in my comment section and like they'll conflate the two. So people will sometimes say like, oh, this is just speculation, which I will definitely admit is speculation. But some people will just say, unless you're like a developer, you have no idea what you're talking about, which I do have friends that are in the development industry and gaming, so there's that. But there's a lot of people, not a lot, but there is a fringe group of people who will come into the section and say things like that. And cool, you can levy whatever you want against me, but just if you don't want to look stupid, like you should at least know the difference of what's going on, and how to protect yourself from videos that don't use actual information as a base, or that just like make stuff up and clickbait you. There's a huge difference there. So one of the big things that I've seen is some Soul Calibur content creators will say, well, they'll completely forget that this is a new timeline, or ignore it on purpose, and that this is like a whole new story going forward that was running off of the base of Soul Calibur and Soul Edge, changing things greatly in the meantime, obviously, with characters like Grow and, you know, the entire like Evolve organization, and Hwang Sung-young coming back the way he did. There's just a plethora of changes that are making this go into a completely different direction, and some people will be like, well, I can't wait for the next game so that we can get like Night Terror, because it's going to be a remake of Soul Calibur 2. Watch my timelines video, please. It's not a remake of Soul Calibur 2. Actually, Soul Calibur 6 actually goes into Soul Calibur 2's original timeline at points and passes it almost into 3 based on the years of what happens in the story in Libra of Souls. So we're not going to get a beat-for-beat remake of Soul Calibur 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. There's reasons why they rebooted the franchise in the first place. So if you hear anybody talking about how they straight up, this is going to be the story of Soul Calibur 6, without mentioning things like the Swords and Shepherds, or Ishka Act, or Wan Gobak, like any of that stuff, then like you just know not to trust that source. They're just making stuff up. Especially when it comes to Algol. Like, I will even say in all my videos, like, yes, the disembodied voice at the end of Season 2 was Algol. Whether or not be playable in some form or fashion is a completely different ballgame that you need to talk about and contest. Yes, we know that he, is there, but like, are they saving him for like a future game? Are they just putting him into the story now so we have more of a backstory for the character than just dropping him in our laps like they did with Soul Calibur 4? I don't know. So like any of that point would be guessing, and I would straight up say that. Some people will literally just try to, it's either for the sake of making constant content or just trying to convince you that they're correct by just making stuff up like that. Like I've heard a ton of people say stuff like certain characters coming back, like, oh, I can't wait to see like Necrid again, I can't wait to see Patroclus again, etc. Like we don't know if those characters are coming back. In the case of Necrid, we know he's not coming back because he's not owned by Bandai Namco or Project Soul. He's copyrighted by Todd McFarlane, so unless he was putting his character rights in the game and they're paying for it, he's not going to show up. Same with the Soul Calibur 4 bonus characters, like Shura, Kamakiri Musi, and characters like that. It's not like, when I talk about this stuff, I don't want to see that stuff happen. Because I've seen people throw that and levy that at me too, that, oh, you just want the game to be the way that you want it, and you don't want this or that. Like, dude, I would love certain aspects of past Soul Calibur games to come back, but it's not like we can expect them to based on the current information that we have. Based on the current information that we have, we're going to take Soul Calibur 6 as a base, we're going to expand upon it, and maybe we're going to add a few things here and there and tweak things, but I don't think we're going to go all crazy and get like a whole new... First of all, though, the Chronicles of Sword is probably not going to come back, even though it's my favorite game mode in all of Soul Calibur. The reason why that won't come back is just like modern day games like are not going to do like a top-down style game like that. Like maybe we can fit it into some kind of like smaller RPG style with like a tactics-based system or something, but I'm not sure if the whole over-the-head characters on the map running with the different classes and destroying the buildings part will ever come back. I believe they tried to recreate a similar feel in Libra of Souls. They just didn't quite hit the mark. In other aspects, it's variously different, and a lot of these things from Soul Calibur like change from game to game because the team changes from game to game. And Soul Calibur 7 is going to be the first time that we're going to have like an actual skeleton of Project Soul on the actual game on the outset, and not like rearranging magical chairs of everybody that's in the thing. The only person that left is Motohiro Okubo, as far as I know thus far, and he was just a producer on the game. And as important as like a producer and executive producer is for financing and gathering the team and stuff, when the team's already there, they don't really need the leader anymore, because at that point it's up to the art direction, the director of the game, the narration and the writing and all that stuff. Like that is what makes the game the game. The producer is just what helps facilitate to make the game happen. So I'm not too worried about like Okubo not being there, and he was the one to handpick the team in the first place, so along with other people. So I know that like the vision of Soul Calibur 6 is going to go on moving forward. Another thing that we need to look about is straight up lies. Like, so you can tell when people are just like trying to pull your leg and just like lie through their teeth about stuff because it'll have like no bearing on the previous game at all. Like I've like seen a bunch of different situations like this, which I try to ignore at all costs. And usually I'll just block the person if there's like a lot of misinformation coming at me my way. Like we've talked about what modes we want on the game, right? But from the jump, we actually tell people in the video that, you know, this is our guess, or this is what we want. Like, we'll be very specific with the verbiage that we use, which is why I only have the subscriber base that I do. If I wanted to clickbait kids into clicking on my video, I very well could. Even my demeanor in the video would change. But I just want to be me, and I like the group of people that follow my content and come onto the channel, so I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to brazenly do that kind of stuff, and those of you that have been a part of the channel for it's almost 5 years in existence know that. So I'm not really gonna like try to straight up lie. If I say something, I'm gonna say this was based on a data mine, or this was based on what's in the game, or this was based on, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give you the information of where it like came from. I'm not just gonna straight up like say stuff. So in our modes video, we were talking about how we would love like a Chronicles of the Sword type mode to come back, and we even mentioned like they could take Libra of Souls and expand that to have more interactivity and less like dialogue, more cutscenes, and turn it into a completely different mode. We were talking about just adding like things back to arcade mode, like cinematics and stuff like that. There was a bunch of different things that we mentioned in that video, and I took a lot of that stuff from your comments, which I showed on the screen. So we know directly where the source of that information was coming from. But I've seen people straight up say like, oh, well, it's gonna have a tag mode. Like, okay, like where are you getting that information from? Because as much as I would love a tag mode in Soul Calibur, there's no evidence that they're going in that direction. In fact, we've made an entire video on this channel about a tag team game and what we would like to see from it and why we would love it so much, but never with the expectation that was actually going to occur. Part of being a YouTuber is engaging with your community and trying to keep people coming back. And the way you do that is by building storylines and narrations within your videos itself. It's a very intricate thing to do. Not everybody can do it. You have to have like, not just in-jokes and things like that. You have to have like a formation of stuff where somebody can watch your videos like 2 years ago and see like the lead up to what's going on now. Not necessarily in narration, but basically just on different ways that you do things and like what people are to expect from you. And usually my story is that I put in the background is trying to be as honest as possible about information and where it comes from, and labeling speculation what it is, not clickbaiting, being here for the creator and the community, which is why like a lot of times I showcase your comments and even put you on the videos sometimes. But some people will start with a storyline, like let's say Soul Calibur 7's already out, all right? Let's say Tekken 8 is gonna come out, right? And somebody will start a narrative point, like when they're starting their videos, about what is going to happen in Soul Calibur 8. Not what they think is going to happen in Soul Calibur 8, but what is going to happen in Soul Calibur 8. And now they got the audience hooked, because now just changing your verbiage makes it seem like they have some sort of source, or their confidence is telling them that they can trust this person. And if they like their personality, they get extra hooked. It's hard to avoid this. Like, we form parasocial relationships. That's just how we are. That's how most YouTubers function. We try to have like a friendship, or at least like a communicative level with the community, so that like they want to keep watching our content. But a lot of these people will manipulate that, and they'll act as a trustworthy source, and then you'll come to them for actual news, and all you get is rumors and stuff like that without it being told to you that it's a rumor. A great example of someone like this could be Dynasty. Like, he completely doesn't have any basis for his videos. Like, often my videos come out before his, and mine are correct and his are incorrect, and he still has a much larger fan base. It's because he does all the things a classic YouTuber does to build a fan base as opposed to a community. I'm just not about that. But on the basis of the video being about speculation and stuff like that, the way you can avoid that is by listening to the verbiage that people are using. Listen to the words they're saying. If somebody tells you who they are, believe them. If somebody is over the top and trying to bait you in with cliffhangers and stuff like that, they're probably trying to hook you for longevity, and they might not know what they're talking about. Now, it's possible they do know what they're talking about, but most people's actual personalities are not that. Everyone can do that. It's not really hard to be fake. Like, it's what we do when we first meet somebody for the first time every time. It's what we do when we first enter school, when we first enter a job. Like, we give a varied version of ourselves that's not truly ourselves, right? Like, people that I can start my video and be like, oh my god, I just found out this crazy thing about Soul Calibur, you're not gonna believe it, stay tuned. And then have like a bullshit like 9-minute video, and to the end where I have like some guessing point, well, we don't really know, you know what I mean, or something like that. It's just the crazy stuff like that that gets on my nerves, which is why I want to try to help my community look out for it. And most of you guys are smart enough to like know what to look out for. Don't press those people. Don't like go into their comment section and like question them on stuff, because like they're just either going to get mad at you, or they're not going to give you like a proper answer. It's just like not good foundations for communication. Like, I mean, I'll just straight up block somebody if they come on my channel like spewing somebody else, like, well, this person said this. I'm like, all right, great, cool, go watch that person then. Like, I don't really care. I'd rather not soil my community with people that are bad actors than people who are sincerely want to be here and are here for not only myself but for the information that I bring. But that's just a kind of a little video about how I feel about speculation and what to look out for, and whether it's actually speculation or not. Remember to check for different verbiage. Remember, if people preface their videos with like, where the source comes from, and instead of telling you about the source after they've already given you the information, they're probably a bad actor. If somebody doesn't have any links to what they talk about in the description box, or says that they have links but don't, a lot of that stuff is little stuff you need to look out for. I post links whenever I post like an article or something like that, so people can see the exact article where I'm getting information from. So I think that's just like 101 what you're supposed to do. But it's 2022 YouTube, so anything goes, right? But with that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to a close. And as I always say, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.